Let's go, baby. Get some energy on this one. I just came from the arena. Feeling it, baby. Let's go.
Oh.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame show. Presented by Bet365, Never Ordinary. Also presented by Miller Lite. It's Miller time. It's also game time. It's also statement time.
Oh, boy.
It's a lot of times right now.
It's also 7:30 time.
7:30. It's a little late, actually, if we're being honest here. A little late. Nuggets taking on the Celtics, a potential finals preview game. I just came from Ball Arena. There was an atmosphere there. This feels like a big game for everybody. We're going to talk about that, break it all down. We're also going to talk about the Avs. Made a big trade. Talking to our Avs guys. Those guys are already booking their hotel for the finals.
What?
So we're going to talk about that. We haven't really talked about the Avs Nuggets, every other game thing that's happening right now. And then Karl-Anthony Towns gets hurt. That's a big story because I think it affects our very Denver Nuggets in several meaningful ways. And, of course, we're going to all get rich using the Bet365 app. Rich Biardo, wildest dreams. You know who's ready for tonight. Brendan Vogt.
What do you mean? It's just another game, fellas. I've been locking in for this since last night.
You prepared for it?
Yeah, I saw Dune 2 again with Eric and Kale, so that was step one. Today, I got up early, went for a good workout, drank a lot of water, meditated. I'm in the zone. And I'll say this, on the walk to work today, it was a little cold, a little snowfall. I love it. That's cold is good for intensity. It helps you lock in. So I'm really, really locked in for this one.
That was all insanity. Over here, I got D-Line go.
It was a little much for me, if I'm being honest. I just woke up from a nap. I'm not ready at all.
He's not actually. He did walk downstairs. Looked very out of it. We'll wake you up.
I would describe myself currently as disheveled.
Disheveled. We'll get you out of it. Okay. I promise you. Seated right next to him, Superstar Dev.
You know what I found out today? White people love Boston and they love Dune. Dune 2.
That's true.
You'll love Dune 2. I don't know about Boston, but you'll love Dune as well.
Did anybody talk about Dune the way that they talked about Dune 2?
Listen, you heard me talking about how dope it was going to be, and then it was dope.
Does Vogt like Boston or is not a white guy?
He lived in Boston. It's a little bit different, right?
I've never lived in Boston.
That
was Eric.
I made that up.
I lived in Boston.
That was Eric.
Basically, Dev learned about me today.
Well, he likes Dune too, so
He does like Dune too.
You'll like it also. You'll additionally like Dune.
I think I have to watch Dune 1 to like Dune 2.
Yeah, it's only 3 hours. You have to get through it. All right, guys, let's move on to the game. We're not talking Dune 2 for the fifth straight day. We instead are talking about the Nuggets hosting the Celtics. As I mentioned, at the arena, lots of Celtics fans there, and I'm telling you, they were so ugly. They were exactly like you picture. So many guys, little hunches, little just like they're making that noise the entire time, and there were hundreds of them. So tonight, going to be very contentious at the arena. I think.
I feel like everybody's just sort of like describing me, but not directly.
Tatum. Oh yeah. Hey, welcome.
Like I told somebody this. It's like I always thought of my last name's Weedham. I always thought of myself as Norwegian until I went to London one time, and I was like, oh, British and Irish. Yeah, you're describing me.
Yeah. Well, telling you, this was the people that were there for the game. But it's going to be an intense one. I have a little anecdote for you that I heard, a little birdie. Yoke broke his routine, I'm told, today to get a little extra shooting in.
Okay.
This morning, I'm told. I'm just a little birdie. So I think that tells me a little bit about Jokic's focus, which I'm excited about. Vogt, what do you have for game notes?
Jaylen Brown was questionable with a sacroiliac strain. Just quadruple check the pronunciation on that
what is
just
it?
Now. Sacroiliac strain.
That's like what?
It's the sacrum. It's the sacrum.
It's your nerve in the lower back.
Oh, okay.
And
I was way off.
That strain.
Wait, Dev, what did you think it was? Dev, what did you think?
Let's go to the game notes, man.
Yeah, we got to get through these game notes, Adam.
Sorry.
Luckily, it's a light injury report for Denver. Just Vlaco, everyone's ready to go. So the starters are playing here in this here basketball game. And this year basketball game is against the Boston Celtics, the team with the best record in the league. They just snapped the league's longest winning streak, actually the longest winning streak of the season, by blowing a 20-point lead to Cleveland. The same night, of course, that Denver blew their own win streak. They're 19-10 on the road. The Celtics are. Malone had this to say about the deadly Boston squad. When I'm watching film, what worries me the most is their three-point shooting. He mentioned their elite shooting numbers, both in volume and efficiency, but then he also said they just have shooting across the board. And this is true, guys. There might not be a single non-shooter on that team. He also went on to say that they lead the league in pull-up threes. So a lot of this ends up being one-on-one, but they have great one-on-one players. So you want to show a crowd and shrink the floor, but then the question is, can you get back out on time and contest those shooters, of which they have many. So that's the conundrum. That's part of how they get so many threes up per game. Then there was a question about Reggie Jackson. It was pretty direct, and it was from our friend Harrison Wind, saying, what is it that you need to see here from Reggie Jackson down the stretch to make you, basically put him back in the circle of trust, in so many words. And Malone did not mince words. He said, yeah, he's got to play better. It's no secret, and Reggie knows that. It was a hell of a stretch when Jamal was out, and Reggie was great. Malone acknowledged that, but they need to see a little more consistency here. He did open it up, say he'd like to see consistency from everyone on the roster, but I would say it's safe to say he didn't shy away from the obvious, which is that, Reggie Jackson is in a bit of a slump, fellas, and tonight would be a great night to break out of it against the team with the best record in the league.
My thing with Reggie is the guy has played a lot of games. He has not missed a lot of games this year, been pretty consistent, and he's the oldest dude. Part of me wonders if you get through the stretch, not tonight, but you get through the stretch, maybe you even get through the homestand. Once you go on the road, I'd give him a break. You need Reggie. And I just feel like Reggie's too old for this, man.
Yeah. I can relate.
I make it through this.
I could use a little time.
But in all sincerity, Reggie's not as bad as he's looked, and he was good early in the season. I just think there's probably a little bit of, he's an old horse.
Yeah, but you can't bank on just saying that he's too old. He has another year under this contract. He's
not going to get younger.
He's the point guard right now. You have to be the backup point guard in this. You're not playing long minutes or big minutes. They're not asking too much of you, but to just get that second unit going, try to find some type of consistency and a rhythm. I do think that it's tough because he's asked to score so much with that unit, but maybe that's where the age comes into it, where you're like, hey, I can't score, but I'm going to get other people involved. So it has to come within with Reggie, and you want to see it multiple games in a row.
But the thing about Reggie, he's not playing it's not like, man, he looks slow out there. It's like, man, he looks really dumb out there.
Yeah.
He's making really dumb shots. Shooting.
That's his game, though.
I know, but
he's not making them. They're not dumb when he makes them.
That's what I'm saying. Is Reggie's got to. Okay, so we appreciate that your body is aging. You're not as able to be as athletic and explosive. So adapt your game. Figure out how to be wily. Make the right pass. Do things that are.
You want to teach an old dog new tricks.
I want wisdom to come into the. Aaron Gordon said, "I want to become a smarter player," and then he became a smarter player. Reggie, become a smarter player.
I think Reggie's pretty deep into his career, though, so that is part of it. Is this is the guy you're getting.
Yeah, but he's not 90.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's at the age. Most teams that have a player that old did not play as many games as he has. Honestly.
No, I agree.
How many times have we heard the word load management from Denver? We've heard it for Jamal,
sure.
4 times, only 4 times.
Big minutes,
who plays big minutes, but we've heard it for him. We haven't heard it for any other player. And I appreciate it as a fan. But again, Reggie's the type of guy that. Whatever, we're going too long on this, but Reggie's the type of guy that it's not like Denver's hurting if he misses a game or two. And I just think Denver, over this last month, as you get ready for the playoffs, he's one of the guys that I think most could probably use just a little break so that he's fresh for the playoffs. Because I do think that fatigue, including mental fatigue, is probably a big part of his specific slump. And I think a little break would do good for him.
Just to put a bow on game notes, a couple people in the chat look confused. Jaylen Brown was on the injury report, but he is available. So these Celtic starters are playing tonight.
Yeah, so that'll be there. Who's going to eat tonight, fellas? The big question. Circle K, Inter Rewards. You see our snacks over here? We got 4 peanuts left.
I'm going to strain my snackses.
Who's going to eat tonight? Dev?
For me, I think it has to be Michael Porter Jr. I think that this is a game for him with so much attention on Jamal with the guards that they have. Aaron Gordon's going to have his hands tied up. Jokic is going to get his all the time. But it comes down to where's the spot that they could try to find something. And I think that's Michael Porter Jr. He has the size. He has athleticism. He will be just another guy that they're not going to game plan for. So make him pay. That's what I think he eats.
I'm going Jamal, man. Jamal ate last time against the Celtics in Boston. It was a really impressive victory, It was an impressive performance. It was like the last time The first time and the last time that I saw what I needed out of Jamal Murray, meaning that, not that he hasn't played to that level since, but it was like I saw enough to know that it's still in there for him. Jamal Murray gets up for big games. The last thing Jamal Murray wants to do, I know for a fact, is let down Brendan Vogt. So I know that's top of mind, very prescient for him. So he's going to go out there and ball.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Jokic.
Oh,
what? He got it. Hey, it's the Celtics, man. It's a big matchup. He's playing it safe over here. I respect that so much.
Vogt
took the first L tonight when Dev took MPJ.
I know
that was actually really cruel.
No. You know what? Derek White's a tough matchup for him.
Oh, boy.
Jokic owes his teammates one. That's not a spot you want to be on the other side of.
Oh, I like this.
Full stop. That's it. And I think part of why you like Denver in a matchup against the Celtics is, do the Celtics have the best roster in the NBA? Yeah. Which team has the best player in the NBA? It's the Denver Nuggets, and it's Jokic. And so I think Jokic, I liked your anecdote that he's extra locked in today, getting some extra shots up. He owes his teammates one. He's at home. It's the Boston Celtics. It's a reminder game time in case anyone needs one.
I love your answer, Yoke. I feel that. I do feel like tonight's... When I hear he broke routine, very abnormal. Very abnormal. It just made me fired up. It was like, hey, a little pissed off at the last game, a little excited and ready to send a message tonight. Like, you never know how it goes, knock on wood, but I do feel like there is a focus going on with this team tonight, and you could just feel it, man. I think we're going to get playoff atmosphere, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the last game we get playoff atmosphere, if we're being totally honest.
Sick.
This might be the last game.
How we get it in the playoffs?
Well, we'll get in the playoffs, but I'm saying of that energy, it might be the last time we get it until April 20th or whatever it is.
You might be right, though.
So I think we get a big one tonight. If I were to say who is going to eat, though, Jokic is good. Murray, Porter, those are all really good. Man, who'd you leave me? You know, here's where I'm going to go.
Go Reggie.
No.
Be a man.
I'm the kind of guy that goes bold. Remember I took Jalen Pickett, didn't even play in the game?
That was
bold, baby.
Alan Gillespie had the NBA game of his life.
It should have been Pickett. They just played the freaking Portland Trailblazers. What are we doing? I think that Peyton Watson is going to have himself a game tonight. He's been trending slightly up in the right direction. I think they need him tonight. They got a lot of guys that need guarded. I think he makes some big-time defensive plays tonight that pop. I would not be surprised. You know what happened in that last Celtics matchup? They went to their playoff rotation. Remember, Malone took that game seriously. I wouldn't be surprised if tonight, especially in the second half, you got playoff rotation in the second half, and that means P. Watt just having to be a defender, not necessarily having to be a shot creator or anything else. I think he has a good game. What's the perfect way this game could go, in your opinion, before we move on? I'll go ahead and say mine, I guess, just to set the table. I think the best outcome is that it's tied going down to 5 minutes. And it ends Nuggets win by 12, 13, 14 points. It's an execution masterclass in the clutch in the way that if Boston has one thing, and Boston fans and Laking Ball in the chat will tell you this, there's one thing they're nervous about is they don't know if they could win a clutch game against another clutch team. So tonight, getting to clutch time and then getting blown out in clutch time, that to me would be the best way tonight could go.
I think the best night is if Denver just puts on like a defensive masterclass. Just because, I mean, Boston this is like an inevitable run. That's what everybody thinks, that this is the finals matchup. If you lock them down, you just have that over them, and you don't see them for a long time. Like, that's a big thing. So I think that there will be a whole lot of changes made for whichever team loses this one. So I think that if Denver does it defensively, that just sets the tone.
Yeah, for me, it's that the Celtics are able to play their game, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's that the Celtics come out, they play the exact game that they always play, and the Nuggets still just win. You know, it's like it's not like, oh man, off night, they weren't able to this, that, or the other. It's like the Celtics deliver their best punch, and it's not enough. That would be the best.
You guys have the responsible answers, and I think you got them right.
Yeah, I left the unhinged one.
So I'll just say,
let's go
22-9 for Porter, and Tatum goes 7 of 21 from the field.
Oh, outplays Porter, outplays Tatum,
and then misses the most critical shot.
No, he gets blocked by MPJ.
There we go.
You guys, the Avs made a series of trades over the last 3 days. Really cooking. Now, look, I'm not going to pretend I know hockey. Middle stat, you know, they get this guy middle stat, right?
2C.
2C. They get a 2C. No, but they made some trades. Like, this season has been, I would call, lukewarm for the Avs. like they knew they were not quite there, whatever. You make a couple trades, and everybody in Avs Nation right now is going crazy. And it made me think for the first time, we talked about this a lot 2 years ago, but it made me think for the first time that we are a month away from an every other day Denver high stakes. And it made me think, like,
I gotta take another nap.
I'm excited. The Avs had their year.
Yeah.
Murray was out. Yoke had their year. Half their team was out. Now it's starting to feel a little bit like a special year here in the Mile High City. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, dude, it's dynasty season at ball. It really does feel that way. The Avs had something really special cooking early on, and we got these feelings that it was going to be something that was a real possibility. But then for them to then, like, and then it really cooled off of late. And but the fact that the Avs are like all in, and again, this is testament to the Kroenke organization. They, it's definitely not like just Josh Kroenke and Stan pulling these strings, but they enable people in positions to make moves that are and trust their visions. And like the fact that they're able to kind of get this sort of heat going this far into their sort of like dynasty championship window is remarkable. So I'm all in, baby.
You guys have any thoughts about this Avs Nuggets thing? I just think it's like let me hear them.
I love it. I feel like it was part of the original dream for the bar.
Yeah.
And then, as you just mentioned, injuries to each team respectively didn't just alter both of their timelines. It kind of, we stopped having that conversation for a little bit. But could this be the golden era for Ball Arena? I mean, it already arguably is.
Dude.
But can they put the ultimate cherry on top? And can we have the ultimate summer here at the DNVR bar?
Dude.
I'm real quick, just because I don't watch a ton of hockey, I did watch that playoff run because we had this bar, and it was the coolest. Like, besides watching the Nuggets run at this bar, watching the Avs run at this bar is the second coolest thing I've done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's nobody got more value for their money than the Ball Corporation. They stepped in to sponsor this.
Great
so
point,
true.
dude, yeah.
There's like Pepsi's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Pepsi a big polluter, Ball a big recycler, maybe that's as simple as that. We did have some Avs legends in the house last week, and they were talking about, yeah, man, can you imagine the double parade? They said if there were 2 championships, they would wait. They were like, hockey players, if you told them they have to wait 10 days before the parade, they'll just party an extra 10 days. Like, they were unfazed by this idea that you'd have to wait. They're like, if that's even possible, you just wait till both can happen at the same time and have a massive parade. And it just made me start thinking, like, my God, our whole city shining?
Dude, think about this, too.
Insane.
The thing that the wildest, bizarro world portion of this is that the Avs and Nuggets are the second topic down on a Nuggets show, and the Broncos disintegrated today. They're not mentioned. We gave away Justin Simmons. Like,
it was a sacrifice.
It's just talk about ships in the night, man. Like, the Broncos are just full on Titanic. Unbelievable.
It's a sacrifice. Guys, another thing happened that's very important. Last night, Karl-Anthony Towns was ruled out for the foreseeable future indefinitely with a meniscus injury. Sounds not too dissimilar from what we saw from Joel Embiid. The difference is Joel Embiid's happened 2 months ago. He's still out. We don't know when he's coming back or what he'll look like. Karl-Anthony Towns, same thing. They don't know. Is it going to require surgery? Is it going to heal on its own? They're weighing options. Either way, I hear that injury, and I just think best case scenario is Karl-Anthony Towns comes back during the playoffs and is not himself. Best case scenario. That's a major blow for a couple reasons. One, Timberwolves 1 game ahead of Denver in the standings. I don't know how their game's going tonight. I know they're playing.
They won.
They
won?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. They get a win. But they also, so not only are they trying to hold on to the seeding, they played Denver 3 times. And then, by the way, Minnesota was a team we said, hey, that team matches up with Denver. I look at this as a major story, Dev, because this was one of the teams that I was afraid of in the playoffs, at least mildly. And I just look at them and I go, without Towns, nah.
That's what most Nuggets fans and followers think was the best matchup for Denver, just because of the dual big man lineup and just how much that they present with that. They're now going to go into a situation that it's going to be like every single game they have to win. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you get a play-in against like the Lakers or somebody like that. Like, it's just tough. And then Karl-Anthony Towns has to come back in the middle of a playoff run. That takes away chemistry on a team that already has been up and down when it comes to chemistry. And they go through these type of injuries every single year. Like, this is a major blow to the West, but this really does favor the Nuggets, and it sucks to say because you don't wish injury on anybody.
Of course,
but this really does like put them in a better position, especially out west, where it's like, okay, now who do you shift to as being the scariest team?
And on the other side, it sucks for the Wolves and their fans, and Nuggets fans can empathize with this. Different injuries, but man,
now it's about the same time of year,
right when it seems like it's all coming together. And this is arguably at this point in the season, this late in the season, the most excited or most reason to be excited Wolves fans have ever had, right? I know they've had good teams, but they're in the contender conversation. Now, maybe depending on how you feel about their offense, you had questions and doubts, but they had earned that. They had earned being in that conversation. This is brutal timing. And they have 3 of their biggest games of the season coming up still, right?
They have like 8 in a row. I think they have a bunch of pretty tough ones.
And a couple against Denver, right? At least, is it 2 more against Denver down the stretch here?
3.
That's what I was alluding to. So, I mean, what a brutal time to lose him. That's going to hurt their seeding. That's going to hurt their chances. Even if he comes back, it's not going to look 100%. So, obviously, it helps the Nuggets, but I do want to express, and I know you guys do too, like a ton of empathy for Wolves fans because we've been there, and it's a tough break.
It
man.
sucks so bad.
It's a tough break.
I think that they are out of the running for the 1 seed. I would be shocked if they held on to the 1 seed at this point, given how thin the margins are.
They have to change how they play, and they especially have to change how they play against Nikola Jokic. Like this benefits no one more than Nikola Jokic. Like to be able to have either Gobert off of Jokic and floating, or Towns being able to, those 2 guys to be able to patrol the paint, and like those 2 guys were able to sort of box up Jokic and like limit some of his effectiveness from time to time. But like, brother, I've got 47. Like now we're talking about that on Rudy Gobert. Like Jokic versus Gobert straight up. Like that's Kofi Duck. Like we're not really worried about that. So this is devastating for their chances, and this is exhilarating for the fans of Nikola Jokic.
If I were to go so far, Dev, I say it's going to be Oklahoma City 1, Denver 2, maybe Clippers even 3. I think Minnesota might fall to 4, man. That's a huge blow.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think that Naz Reid is a really good backup, and it is great that they have that insurance on him. But he's just not the same as Karl-Anthony Towns. Like, and this is where you will be able to see like the talent that he is. Like, wherever you feel about him, it doesn't change the fact that he's a really damn good basketball player that they have their identity in. So it gives them another weapon that is now taken away from there. But I do think that that's how the standings go, and they're gonna be fighting for dear life just to hold on to seeding, and then at that point you risk more injury. Right. So like this is a tough spot for them to be in.
I feel bad for them. And Naz Reid, as good as he is, they had him before. It's not like they gained Naz Reid. They already had him. Exactly. They just lost Town. So it's a tough blow for them. And yeah, I'm with you. Minnesota, they've suffered enough, man. That's a tough blow. All right, let's open up Bet365, Never Ordinary. Let's spice up this game that needed no spice, but we're going to spice it up anyway.
Did you say spice? Dune 2. Let's go.
Denver comes in this game, shockingly, as 2-point underdogs.
What?
And I have one question. What the hell, man?
Yeah, what the hell?
Wait, they're in Denver, right?
They're in Denver, so at home.
They beat
disrespect. That's disrespect.
They have to take this as disrespect. They have to show up because that's trifling.
You know
Everybody knows it's trifling. We're going to go +2.
I'm gonna go
They're
money
sweeping
line.
them this year, man. This is happening. +2. I'm also going to go over 221. These type of games are usually like the playoff, grinded out type of games. They're typically all defensive slugfest. I think this one has fireworks. I think a lot of people show up in this game, and it's going to be let's prove to this other team that we have it. So I don't think that it's just going to be. I'm going to go over 221.
On accident.
I'm going over 20 points on Mr. Sacktown. Jaylen Brown. He's found a way to make it in this league despite
Mr.
not having a left hand. And that's impressive to me, man.
And he's got that sacroiliac strain, dude.
And it's the sacroiliac version. I mean, I couldn't believe how Draymond defended him. I can't. So, I mean, he's better than what people believe. I think he gets over.
The pulled sack?
Even with a cold sack.
Wait, you're betting on his sack?
No. I'm going to sneak in a Porzingis over 1.5 3-pointers back. Sneak that in.
He does love to shoot his threes.
I like Derek White over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
They're all scoring.
This is not just a hometown kid that plays better in his state. Like, he's actually good. Is he their best player?
You could argue.
People argue that he's their best player. He just brings it every single night, and this is a good matchup that he has to be involved in. For Denver, I'm going to go over 2.5 3-pointers for Michael Porter Jr.
It's a Michael night?
Oh, this is a Michael night.
Talk sweet to me.
He will have to be an escape valve for Jamal, who will surely be pressured by two of like the better elite perimeter defenders. And he has to keep the defense honest. So I just think that he's going to be able to knock down open shots. Let's also get over 1.5 3-pointers for KCP. I like this, and he's been shooting them at a higher clip. It just looks a lot better, like shooting the ball, like more confident. I like it. Over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Aaron Gordon. This has a lot to do with just positioning and trying to defend Tatum. They're going to ask him to be on the floor every single time that he's on the floor, or he's just going to get destroyed. So I don't like that. I think that he also is going to be forced to score in this game. So I like the 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I like Jamal for over 6.5 assists. They'll try to force him to pass and just make him get uncomfortable. I think he's going to find Jokic a lot. That pick and roll, you got to know that they're going to get that because they're going to want Drew Holiday off of him. They're going to want Derek White. That's a lot of pick and pops for Jokic. So I like over 6.5 assists for Jamal. My defensive bet is Jokic over 1.5 blocks plus steals. I think that happens.
Wow.
I really like Jokic over 21.5 rebounds and assists. That combination.
Wait, how many?
21.5. Rebounds and assists.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I mean, there's concentrated shots for Boston. It's Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown taking every single shot, which leaves him under the rim. I know Porzingis to try to bring him out. Maybe they get him off of him at times, but I just think he grabs a lot more rebounds. He has his assists, which is 8.5. It's super low. That's my lock. Over 8.5 assists for Jokic.
Really?
I mean,
that's the lock?
It's 8.5. That's just too low for him. I do think that he's going to score, but also I think that he's going to just be able to find other people. I think he gets assists early, so then it becomes easy in the second half. So I liked it, over 8.5 assists.
Is there anything we didn't get to, boys, that you kind of like?
A couple super chats for what it's worth.
Oh, yeah, let's get to some super chats.
I kind of like those.
I wanted to get to these because I like when people
Cedric Exquisite
pay to compliment us or talk shit, depending on who it is.
Yeah,
Cedric
we'll find out.
It ends tonight, eyeballs. Lock in, Dev. Eric, need your energy.
I'm sorry. I'm still waking up from a nap. I'm an older gentleman.
I put a couple.
Oh,
Nikola Nuggets. $100
Nuggets.
super chat. Should we be offended that the Celtics are favored in Ball Arena? Because I am.
I don't know. Are they the reigning NBA champs with their fully healthy roster playing in their home arena where they beat everybody?
Hang on. But you're forgetting that they played head-to-head in Boston earlier.
That's true, and they lost that one.
Who won that?
Oh, they won
the
that
Nuggets
game.
won that game.
Hold on.
I'm with you.
They should
for your
be.
money.
They should be offended. We should be offended. Everybody should be. The Celtics should be offended. They're
I'm
like,
offended.
We didn't want this. They're like, dude, come on, man.
Everyone lock in.
Nobody believes in us, man.
S. Williams 2 seems
Sitting
like a perfect
right over
game
there.
oh yeah, what's up, man? Seems like a perfect game to bring some take that L on the way out
Yes.
energy. Those little leprechauns tonight inside Ball Arena.
Oh, little leprechauns, man. Little tiny leprechauns.
Yeah, dude.
Little
I hate
angry
short
gentlemen.
people.
You only get games like this every so often. Tonight's one of those nights, man. Tonight's one of those nights. We're going to be right back here post-game. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you on the other side.
Let's